Hello friends, and welcome to another episode of the Urban Homesteading channel. If today is your first visit in our channel, we want to extend to you a very warm welcome and invite you to watch any of our over 500 videos that we have arranged for your convenience in playlists, as we are confident you're going to find something both entertaining and useful to watch. If you have been here before but you have not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Do subscribe. It is free and it greatly helps the channel. If today is your birthday, we want to extend to you a very happy birthday. Today we have a treat for you. We're going to build a very useful and easy build, right? And you don't even require to have a shop for this build. You can actually build it in your apartment, in your house. You only need somehow to make screw holes, and you can even do it with a manual screwdriver. It will take longer, but you don't even have the power drill. But the tools you will need will be these, and you will be a burn kit, because we're going to do the Suzuki-ban Japanese method of burning, because that's something we like. You don't have to do that. Of course, you can stain this, leave it as it is, or paint it, whatever you want to do, right? But here we have this is an entry-level burn kit that utilizes the readily available blue propane bottles, right? They are ubiquitous in most every large home improvement store, and even though you will have to have that only if you do our finish, right? Otherwise, the only tool you really need is screws and screwdriver. For our purpose, we're also going to use color. We're going to mix that with the Suzuki-ban process.
We haven't decided which color yet.
Right, we haven't decided. So the overall cost for us was about $50. You could do it cheaper, however. We chose to buy threads for our wood, which was probably the most expensive way to buy this wood, right? But we wanted to keep it as minimal cost as possible with no tools. Of course, we could have made the bull nose ourselves, but that would require a router, you know, and so forth. So at 50, you literally need a screwdriver, right? That's all you need. And we did purchase these crates. Now, if you want to make your own crates and you don't want it to be a minimal build, I'm going to put up here a card for you. We have a video with building crates that you can watch if you would like to have everything you need, even if you start from scratch and build your crates. So look up on our video if you want to do that. So we're going to get set up here, and we're going to be right back with you. And this is what we're going to build for you today, using a screwdriver, an electric screwdriver in essence, right? No other tools are needed, and if you want to build something like that, follow along. We're going to show you pretty much every step, and it is an easy build for a novice. If you want to get into the hobby with very minimal tools, you can do it in your living room if you want, right? You have to clean afterwards, but you can do it you don't need a shop. So stick with us, and we're going to show you step by step how we did this. For the purpose of expediting the process, we decided a certain sequence. Folks, that's what I'm needed for.
That was ridiculous.
Open cans and read things that are high up. So we're using a scrap piece from the same kind of wood as pine, right?
Yeah.
You're putting it a little too thick.
I'm horrible.
But you know,
I just wanted to see the color.
I didn't say you were horrible, I just said you did it.
My fingers just don't want to open that, so.
Ah, the smell of spray paint.
I know.
The smell of paint in the morning. I kind of like that.
Okay, neither one of those look anything like the cap.
Hold them up to it.
That looks like a dreamsicle.
Maybe you use both.
I don't want to use both.
I do like that one better. I don't know, you like that better?
Hold both of the caps up so you can see the cap color difference versus what actually comes out.
Yeah.
So this looks much darker in the cap. However, you know, when they dry, they tend to change a little bit in color too.
Well, I definitely vote for the blue.
But what you voting? Since you have the veto vote.
Yeah, I think the blue too.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So, well, again, when you do that, try to do as close to the species of wood you're using as your scrap paint piece, because different types of wood will actually make the color look different.
As for instance, we have a piece of birch that has a very greenish tinge, which would totally change the color of these paints.
Yeah, so it makes sense, but always use that, because I can still use this piece of wood for something, not for a project, but
even a spacer or something else that we need to use for. But yeah.
So again, I'll say for the order we decided to do this is we are going to paint the crates first. Well, we didn't tell you that the paint will go on the crates, right? And then we're going to Suzuki bang the bottom and top plates, the seat in essence, and what we're going to call the bottom.
The floor, the bottom.
The floor, the bottom. And then we're going to assemble it. So for that purpose, we are going to have to be careful and decide where we're going to put the crates before we start finishing, because wood glue will not hold on the Suzuki band, on the burn part, or paint for that matter. So we need to be very judicious of how we do that. So stick around and we're going to show you more.
Before we paint the crates, I'm going to place them where I want them to be on the bottom tread, and I want a 1-inch reveal on the sides and the back, which is going to give me a little bit more than that. It's probably going to be about 1 inch to where the edge is, but then the curve's going to come out a little bit more as well. And I'm going to trace a line all the way around the crate so that I know where to burn and where not to burn.
And why we're doing this on the bottom and not on the top?
Because the top, I won't burn the underside at all.
Okay.
Because it's not visible.
And again, the reason for that is the finish will prevent the glue from adhering.
Correct. So I'm just going to measure the back and make sure that I have that 1 inch all the way around.
Now, if you make your own crates and you buy cheaper wood and you have some tools to make a bullnose and things like that, this can easily be with the crates a $30 project, right?
Yeah, if you have everything you need to do.
But if you don't have anything, you don't need to go and buy any tools. Most every household will have a screwdriver. I would hope, right?
Here is a question though. Because this will be visible through the slats, do I need to do that?
Well, I was going to talk about this, but...
Well, what's your thought?
Well,
while we're here and we're discussing.
It is up to you. I mean, if you can either leave those raw like that, I mean, paint the sides, right? The top is not visible, so it makes no difference. So you can either leave those raw, otherwise we need to mark on any of them, and whatever physics we use on this, we need to use on that.
So you think that if I paint the crate whatever color, then I also need to paint this that color?
I think so, but it will probably have to be after we attach it, because there's no way you can Suzuki ban this without burning right and left of it. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, because you're Suzuki banning this, right?
Yes.
But then you can just paint it if you want, and not have that part Suzuki ban, just have it match the paint.
Okay.
Or leave it, I think it will look okay leaving raw. What do you think?
I don't.
Okay.
It has to be one or the other.
All right. So was all this discussion clear for everyone? I mean, for our audience? We're talking about what we're going to do with the spaces between the slats if we're going to Suzuki bang the whole thing, right?
Right, so the base we are thinking to Suzuki band, that's the aesthetic. But then this would be painted, but you also need to glue them together.
Correct.
And so you can't Suzuki band and then put glue on it and then put this on top, because it won't stick, correct?
Yeah. Of course you can risk just using the screws, but I wouldn't, right?
Well, it's an option. We'll think about it. I mean, we're still problem solving right now, but the other option is to paint this entire interior space
afterwards,
that she's outlining the same color as the crate.
And we can do it after we finish the assembly. All right?
So a lot of times we think we know what we want to do, and then once we get into it, we have to change course a little bit.
Well, yeah, because we are very big on preparation before we start the project. I mean, we spend hours upon hours upon hours. Why are you laughing?
Sometimes we do, and we have a very clear picture of exactly what we're going to do, and other times we improvise as we go along.
And sometimes we bring the camera out and say, what we're going to do today? No, that never happens.
No.
Never.
That I can't recall a single time that happened.
All right, so let us go on and show folks what we're doing.
So the inside of the slats on the crate this is pretty smooth, but the inside of the slats is a little bit rough. And before I paint that, I wanted to go ahead and give it just a light sand. So I'm just taking a sheet of sandpaper, fine grit, you can see it's 150, wrapping it around a scrap piece of wood to help with that sanding, and then I'm just gonna go across it and get those a little more smooth and ready to paint.
And again, you can find this sandpaper anywhere. Walmart, I mean,
Yeah,
it is
it's
not
a 3M, but it's nothing specific. Like I said, it's just a 150 grit. It's pretty fine to help us get to a finer.
And again, we have all those tools, but we want to show you a build that requires very minimal tools, right?
Right, and you can be creative with your needs.
And it wouldn't be our channel if we didn't sand a little bit.
Okay.
So our next step is painting the crates. And we decided, did we tell them that we decided on this?
We did not tell them. We told them we hadn't decided, but now it's the peacock blue.
And the winner is Miss Louisiana.
Yeah, the peacock blue. Why are you turning it to the side? You're not. Oh, you are. You are painting that side. And I chose spray paint because I thought it would be a little quicker and easier than trying to do another kind of paint and getting something.
Okay, what is visible? I'm trying to figure out what is visible.
Everything but the back.
If you see any striking, any light areas, we need to cover them before we...
Here on the edge.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, let
Right
me...
here on this corner.
Well, I don't think we're done there yet, but that's okay. Because I have to drop it now and...
Okay. Now how do you want it?
Well, let's drop it and do the inside.
Okay.
Actually, I will do the top first.
Yeah,
I mean, this
do the edge.
is not really the top, but...
The edge facing. Yep. You have missed some on that edge and on this one.
It is absorbed, actually. That's why I wait after we do it. This might be challenging unless we bring a log or something.
It really is a beautiful color.
Yeah, I think it's gonna match nicely with some other items.
So in case you guys didn't know, we're making this for Elpida. It's a
She has been directing the decisions of this build, so
so
I
this,
think that most people have guessed that by now.
so this is a commercial project.
Right, right.
This is the pay for Elpida's endless support for the channel. Did you know that? Well, now you do.
This wizard is trying to stay out of the line of fire
Yeah.
here.
The spray.
Well, this is not the easiest paint job, but we'll make it work. I missed a couple of spots there. Because I'm painting upside down with the can, every now and then I like to shake it. Plus the ladies like it when I shake it. You might be in the fire lane there. So don't be afraid if you miss a spot, just look at it and sometimes you will see it when it starts drying because it will be absorbed, right? The key is not to stay too heavy because you're going to drip, right?
Right.
So I'm going to give it a couple of seconds just to dry. I see a little bit of whiteness there, right? And then Elpida and Mrs. Wizard are going to look at it and make sure I didn't miss anything.
You can see the difference in how the grain is absorbing it. And so you just need to be really careful about.
Well, it doesn't mean it is better to do 2 or 3 light coats over it than a heavy one, because if it
Right.
starts dripping,
Then you have to sand it out.
yeah, I mean, it's just no fun. So we have the crate at this moment upside down. Not because it is hard to paint this inside, which is really,
The underside of the handle.
well, it is just hard. So we start this way, so we don't have to handle it when it is really wet, right?
And then do you want it on the end so that you can?
Well, it's a little easier, but you know. And as you can see, initially you see a little bit of striking or streaking. What I'm talking about. You see a little bit of white stripes, right?
Yeah.
Do not worry about that. That is normal, right?
When you're using spray paint.
Right. And as it dries, you might see some white spots returning, and that is normal, because wood absorbs things in a different, what do you call it, at a different rate.
Right, so different parts of the wood are more dense than others, and so it's going to change how it absorbs that paint.
And again, I do have a spray gun, but
One here and one there.
we are keeping this as no tools as we can, right?
Right. Here and over there.
Well, this actually has a little too much of a coat. I don't want to put more. Again, don't be afraid. I mean, this is something that even after it dries, you can put a very light coat to get rid of spots, right?
Watch your next step.
Yeah, get you?
Yeah, I'm just trying to stay out of the line of fire there.
Now, if you have not used a spray can before, it would be a good idea to maybe practice somewhere, especially with the slot, so you don't put all your paint outside.
Right, right.
It is not difficult, but it needs a little of understanding of where the nozzle is, right? How you will call it. I mean, it's not a difficult thing.
Yeah, it does just take a little bit of practice, and also understanding light coat versus heavy coat.
Yeah. And when the spray paint, anything, you have to keep moving. If you stay in a spot, it's going to drip.
Yeah.
And the same token, there is no way to totally avoid drips. Drips will happen.
Right. So as you can see, we've been kind of wiping up a little bit if we've got a little bit of a drip. But what I do like here is that the grain is still showing through this paint, so it's almost going to look like it was stained instead of painted in this particular application, which is going to fit really nicely with
And frankly,
the look that I like.
And frankly, we couldn't have achieved that with a paintbrush or a roller,
Right.
because this puts a much thinner.
Covered it
Yeah.
heavier. Yeah.
And again, if that's the look you're going for, go with very light.
Very light coat.
And don't be concerned that initially will look blotchy, because I mean, where's the other one? As you can see, start drying really nicely, right?
Well, and you know, there's another technique too that we're not using here, but we might use on a different project, and we could do kind of a milk paint or a water paint,
Yeah.
where you dilute the paint essentially, and it comes out a much lighter
Softer
coloring and much more kind of rustic feeling, country feeling.
But for that to use it as a spray, we'll have to use our spray gun.
Yeah, not the spray, but if you were to do it with a cloth method or even a brush, you
And
could
I
do it.
tend to prefer more dual tone colors. I don't tend to like really pale colors, but I know a lot of people do.
Well, I mean, for the effect.
Yeah, yeah.
It could be that thinly veiled effect, even in whatever color you choose.
And then for economy of materials and for time, you don't have to paint things that are not visible, right?
Right, so we're not painting the back of this because it's going to be against the wall.
Plus, we need it raw so the glue will work.
Well, no, the glue's not going to be on the back. It's going to be on
Oh, yeah.
actually the top and the bottom of the crate now. Come and get these.
So do we
slats.
need the back to be painted?
No.
I didn't thought of that, because these don't need to be painted. But
No, I think the back being, I don't know. I'll think about it.
I mean, it won't be visible,
Yeah, it's only if you have to move it
right?
and you're going to put it out somewhere.
And if you see a blotchy spot, it's better to continue, let it dry, because if you try to fix it immediately, you're going to drip. There's going to be a lot of, and I noticed me doing that right now, you know, it's like,
So are there drips I need to get to?
I don't see any other. Oh yeah, and that's what I noticed, that's why I said it, right? Because I tried to correct it immediately, which is a tendency that all of us will have, right? But,
Oh, and there's another one up there I need to get to as well.
okay, come. But avoid the urge to do it immediately, because then you're going to drip. Again, as you can see, it is very easy to handle drips, right? All you need is a paper towel.
Yeah.
So it's not a catastrophe. if you have a little bit of a drip.
No, yeah, it's more like this edge, not the top edge.
Oh. Well, stop wiping it, woman.
Well, I'm just trying to make sure it's not.
I'm just giving you a hard time.
And there's one more kind of bare spot right there.
Yeah, right there, in that corner.
And by the way, it's good to have some other person looking at it, because when you paint, your eyes become desensitized, what you will call it.
Here's some. Let's go for the
Well, let's dry it a little bit. Let me do the outside.
Okay. So what do you think? Should I do the back just in case, so that it's finished and there's no question
If
about
you
it?
wanted to pull it out of there and
Yeah.
put it somewhere else, I mean, I guess.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that just
Okay.
to be safe. So we'll let this one sit. We'll bring that one back.
Touch that and see if it is. Oh, that doesn't have paint, so we can turn it now and do it.
Do what?
We can turn it on the unpainted thing and do the back.
And on its side.
Yeah.
There you go.
This bottom edge.
Where?
That bottom edge there.
Okay.
I can't tell if it's glare or
No, there's no glare. I think it's good. You guys look at it and tell me.
Here, there's a little bit here,
Around the edges of
Yeah.
this side.
and then here.
So here, here, and
Oh,
here.
just in time to rain.
You want to take it in?
Move that one inside.
So we start having a very light rain, and we brought the crates back in the shop, protecting the shop floor with a trash bag from the paint. But we're going to start the Suzuki band process in a few moments, and while this is done, the paint will dry, right?
Yep.
And the big advantage of the Suzuki band is, of course, that it's ready immediately.
Yep.
We do it and we put some wax or oil in it, and then we're done.
Yeah. It's
So
a real fast process, fast finishing.
So stick around and we're going to show you that process next. So we're going to start the Suzuki band process. No, I'm joking.
And talk about the gloves.
Okay, and Elpida is using actually my welding gloves.
The reason is because
It gets very hot, and we know from hot glue that hot is bad, right? Now our shop is full all wood, right? So it wouldn't be a bright idea to actually do it in the shop. We have the privilege of space here, right? We have plenty of space, so we can be outside and be safe. And now this is a fun process that has many advantages. In fact, if you wanted to do a small building and weatherproof it, that is a good way to weatherproof wood. I believe actually that's how it originated in Japan.
yeah, that's what they use it for, is their siding. They use it for floors. It pest-proofs everything and weatherproof. It's very, very nice, and no chemicals, which
Right.
is the best part. So there's a way to hold this. You want to hold it, at least with this one, there's bigger pieces that you can get to do this flamage if you're doing a lot of wood. For this smaller piece, you can see I'm holding it just a couple of inches from the wood, and then if you go slower, you're going to get a slightly more even burn, so it's learning that. So you might want to practice a little bit.
Yeah, like on a scrap wood.
Yeah.
Because you do want to be as even and steady,
Right.
so that one part isn't charred and the other is very light.
Right. And different species of wood are going to burn differently. So as a for instance, one time I did a piece of teak. And that thing, it burnt very, very nicely, but it just kind of kept burning even when I was finished, and got to almost a black ebony wood finish, which was super nice and kind of a neat surprise. But just beware that every kind of wood is going to burn differently. And
So
you
it
can
might
see-
look different
Right.
when it's finished.
And you can see here I'm going just a little bit over the edge of the line where we drew that we want our pieces to be.
And there is a little drizzle of rain here, but that doesn't affect this process. That's another good thing, right?
Right.
Unlike paint, it will not dilute it. It's not going to do any harm.
And if you don't like the lightness of your burn, you just go back over it a little bit and get it darker. And you can see that different parts of the grain are burning differently.
Now this will really pop when we put the crates on, because now there are going to be those big areas that they're not burned, right? So it will look a little strange.
And also something to be aware, if you've got sap pockets, they might catch on fire. They may also look a little differently in how they burn. I'm going to do this back edge.
So which process do you think takes longer, painting or Suzuki ban?
The Suzuki ban definitely is taking longer in this instance, especially because we've got the smaller nozzle. If we had one of those, you know, giant ones that you can get for the big boards, this would have already been done.
So to tell you, Elpida has her eye in a commercial grade flamethrower for Suzuki ban.
Well, yeah, and again, the idea is that you can do siding boards with that and be done with it very, very quickly. And I think one of the more traditional methods is they use fire and then they put them into like a triangle formation, and the fire goes up the middle of the triangle once you pull the boards together, and then once they're done burning, they take them apart, and it's just beautiful. If you do any kind of research and look that up, it's just amazing.
Well, I think this is pretty cool though.
Oh, it is, and definitely for our purposes, it's really pretty awesome. And I think this is going to come together very, very nicely.
So do you want to put it in before it gets wet? And
Yeah.
here we are at the sap spot. And as you can see, it burns first of all. And secondly, it's very different. And it smells, right? I mean, it has a smell to it. But even that I like. I mean, it has a...
Oh yeah, that's part of why I wanted this one as the top, because I knew it would give it more character, but I wanted people to see what it's going to do if you have a pocket like that.
Plus you like to see the flames up.
Well, yeah, I'm a pyro.
Okay, the animals are coming, so be careful. And as you probably realize, Elpida totally hates this process.
Yeah, they've seen me do so many projects with it, they know I hate it.
It is our first in North Carolina though.
Yeah.
And I think our biggest, isn't it?
I'm going to have to move because of the angle of the... Yeah, this is probably the biggest one we've done as a burn.
So we have a liberal application of glue, which really is going to do the heavy lifting on this project. The screws will, in essence, act like clamps.
Clamps.
Clamps, yeah, what did I say?
Sounded like lamps. I know
No.
it got kind of blended together. I just wanted to clarify that it was clamps and not lamps.
Well, how would it be lamps? I mean,
Well, I don't know, but that's what it sounded like.
it doesn't even make sense.
No, it did not.
Doesn't even make dollars. Okay. So we did start initially without having the glue, and we had to reset and do the gluing, right?
I think I want to clamp it to try and hold it in place a little bit.
Okay. I would say use every other one, like the top, the one you're on now. Skip one, or actually only the top and the bottom, I guess. I don't know, whatever you
This
want.
one and this one?
Yeah. If you want more, you can do more. It's not it will be a little. If you do only the two, put 3 holes, 3 pilot holes on each. If you do 2 of the slots to connect, do 3 pilot holes on each. If you do riveting DIY, but again, this is the only tool we're using this time.
Light over here, please.
This is the only tool we're using, and we want to tell you we do have tools, right? That's the idea.
I'm just going to do this one as well.
Okay. That would be a good idea if you want to just blow those.
Blow them?
Yeah.
I blew them.
You should be able to just push the screw there.
Ah, North Carolina.
What happened in North Carolina?
In 5 minutes, it'll be bright sunshine.
Yeah.
Well, we used to live in Mobile, Alabama. Wasn't much different.
For that matter, Kansas does it every county. Not quite the same way, but now and again.
All right, friends, and here we are. We have attached the two crates to the bottom, and we use screws, glue, and because there was a little bit of bow in one of the slots, we used 2 brad nails. Again, the brad nails act as a clamp while the glue dries, right? They don't really do anything else.
Holding the board in place.
Yeah. So we're not going to count that as a tool because it's not necessary. We say one tool, we use the second tool. But if you want, if you have the same problem, you can put something heavy, like a heavy book,
Right.
or something heavy on it, you know.
Just to make contact with the
Right.
wood.
A pot full of water. I mean, you don't really need a tool. You can use anything you want. We're going to use the same process. We're going to turn this over. We're going to bring the top, what's going to be our top bench. And the only thing you have to remember here is you want to attach this in the unfinished side, right?
Correct.
Your finished side needs to be visible on top. And with all these projects, that is the hardest part. Like, we almost forgot to do one of the sides paint correct, right? So that is the difficult part, keeping in mind what is visible and what is not visible and finishing it correctly, right? So we're going to bring it here, and we're going to probably visit you again when it is all done, right? All right, let's get to work. Once again, we're putting wood glue on both crates because this time we have to do it all as a unit, right? And probably I would say this is the hardest part of the assembly, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Because you have to flip it, you have to glue it, you have to flip it, and you have to be reasonably close to your correct spot. I mean, you will never be right on, but reasonably close, right? Okay. Now you need to make sure that you stopped. You need to make sure that your 2 bull noses match. They are in the same direction, right?
So on this one right now, we have it this side. We're going to do an absolute flip, and the bull nose is going to be on the opposite side when we're done.
Right.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. I'm right on the mark. Are you?
Okay, there are 3 marks here, so I'm not sure. If you want to give me the black thing.
It's the most inner one.
Black thing's right here.
Okay. Yeah, we're good.
Okay, I'm going to give you another coin off.
Sorry. What do you want me to clamp?
I want you to clamp it in place so it doesn't move when I'm doing the pilot holes.
Oh.
Front. You need to turn it a little bit.
Oops, it moved.
Okay. Alright, so now I think for ease of access we need to move it as far back this way as we can.
You have to be there if you want to record.
Then I'll do the pilot holes and I'm going to do screws on all 4 of these.
I think it's overkill, but
Insert overbuild and everything. Ooh, drip.
so as a finish for the Suzuki Bang, we're going to use some liquid wax. Is that a good expression, liquid wax?
It's beeswax.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and orange oil I think.
Wood polish and conditioner.
And if you can see the difference between where I've applied the wax and where I haven't, you'll see what it does to the wood to bring out.
And it also protects it, especially if you put something wet there, or you know,
Yeah.
it will not make a ring.
And it's a natural finisher.
Yes, which is what I really like as opposed to a lot of the chemical things that we put on our wood.
And these give you so much character, this little.
And so is it visible on camera? The
Yeah,
difference?
you can
Okay.
see the difference. It's got a little bit on camera, a little bit more of an orangey tone to it than the wood that hasn't been touched.
You want to do all of it, or?
Yes.
Now this step, it will be a good step even if you have painted or stained this piece, right? You can always use an oil or a wax on top of a finish. Or if you're going for a modern look, you can use a polyurethane, right? And it will make it very shiny. Maybe we'll do an episode about different finishes. Now this will be used for what? We're going to put shoes here.
It's going to be an entryway bench for shoes. And
I was thinking if you were to turn it on its side, this could be a neat bookcase too.
well, it could.
Or a knick-knack display, or is that what's called knick-knack?
Yeah.
Knack-knick?
Yeah, it could.
There are many ideas with this kind of crates. And again, we have made crates like this. So if you want to make your own, which is much cheaper than buying them.
And we're not sponsored by this product, but it is something I found and I liked for a finish.
And I also use it for my table, so incidentally, maybe we should be, you know, hit us up with what is called Howard.
Yeah.
Howard, hit us up. We'd like to work with you, right?
Yeah.
But for now, Howard didn't do anything for us. We paid for it.
And the other thing, like I said, I like is that it has that nice orange smell, which is very, very pleasant.
So this is our finished project for today, and I think it pretty much is what we thought. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it's really beautiful. The colors playing against each other. Really, really nice. Good choice.
So we are pleased with the build. It took us what, 3-4 hours? I mean, you know.
Ooh, more like
About
2.5.
Yeah.
And
We have a big difference of opinion on the time it took. That's okay. It was a short, you know, didn't take us long.
it's definitely something you can do in a day.
Yeah,
Well, and
enough time.
obviously we've said before, but filming definitely extends your project time. So,
Yes, but of course, if it is a novice, probably will
Right.
take that because
Yeah.
they are novices. We hope you enjoy this kind of build. All right, friends, and as we were finishing this piece, all of us thought of other ideas of how we could use it. The initial design, what we really built for, was for Elpida to put in her mudroom for storing shoes, for sitting down, putting her shoes on, and storing pairs of shoes. And of course, this is perfect for that purpose, right? But as I was looking at it, you can turn it on its side, and you can make a very nice display cabinet or bookcase. And what is neat about that, if you're a novice, you don't need to square anything. It's self-squaring. I mean, it is really an easy project, right? You can also build two of them and put them back to back, and have a nice coffee table. So they're endless. The possibilities are endless when you do woodworking. And we look exactly at this configuration. It is a $50 project. I doubt you can go to any store and buy it for $50.
I doubt as well.
And this is on the expensive side because we wanted to show you a no tool build. If we were to buy not very ready-made wood, or we were to build those, it would take us longer because we have to build two of these, but it would be a substantially faster project.
Well, it would be less expensive.
It will be less expensive, yeah. Sorry, I said faster when it is slower, but
Yeah.
the last thing we want to bring your attention, and we contemplated but decided not to do it, is you could put casters on this and have it easy movable. If you do that and you want to use it as a sitting bench, you need to buy locking casters, otherwise you might have yourself,
Go skateboarding in
Yeah.
your house.
it wouldn't be fun.
Or you
Could be.
could not do that and use it as a
And have
surfboard
fun.
in the house.
Yeah.
We're not responsible of any damage or injury.
Right.
You
We
know.
didn't give you any ideas.
But in any case, what do you guys think of the project overall? Success?
I'm pleased with it. Yeah.
An easy DIY project. We appreciate you staying with us if you stayed all the way through. We'll appreciate your support with a thumbs up if you did enjoy the video. The other button works as well if you didn't. Please share, like, subscribe, Let us know what you would like to see in future episodes of the channel. From Dr. Wizard, Mrs. Wizard, Elpida, and the Urban Homesteading channel, we want to bid you farewell. Stay safe, wear your masks, wash your hands, so we can see you again in a week. Be good, friends.